Culture has a lot to do with who we are. It has a lot to do with the way that we were raised. And for a lot of people, your culture either comes from your ethnic background or the environment in which you were raised, or for a lot of people, it comes from your religious background. And that's where a lot of my culture comes from personally. I grew up going to church every Wednesday, every Sunday morning. We would go most Sunday evenings, and it was a big part of my life growing up, and it's still a part of my life today, although I don't attend church as much as I used to. I grew up in the Christian faith, and one of the most common symbols with the Christian faith is the cross. And it's the first thing that I think of when I think of Christianity. But before the cross was a symbol of Christianity, it was just a way that Romans would kill the people that they believed were the worst criminals. And when Jesus was sacrificed on the cross, that's when it became a symbol for Christianity. Now, the cross represents different things to different people, but for me, what the cross represents is sacrifice. It represents the sacrifice that Jesus made dying for our sins, and it represents the sacrifice that God made giving his one and only son to be sacrificed for our sins so that we could be made clean so that we can enter heaven. And the crucifix for me, which is the cross but depicted with the three-dimensional figure of Jesus on it, that represents that he is risen, that we have a God that is alive, and that's something that is so important to me because that was instilled in me from a very young age. And my husband and I just had our son 6 months ago, and that's something that's important to me, is continuing on my culture and my husband's culture of the Christian faith through our son and raising him up the way that we were raised so that he can continue on and raise his children that way and keep it going. And that's how these cultures are still around, and that's why we are the way that we are. Culture is a huge part in all of our lives, and as long as we teach our children the way that we were taught and bring them up the way that we were with all of our traditions, then our cultures will continue to grow and they won't ever be forgotten.